A little while ago, there was a demonstration done using some GW models built into 3D computer-generated models for a tabletop game that just took the QR codes, cards, and put them on the tabletop and then projected the unit. We're like, oh, hey, look, now your army's just automatically there. But at that point, you really just have a video game, right? I mean, you gotta look through the glasses or whatever. Okay, so it's a virtual reality game, but that's not really augmenting the tabletop experience. That's replacing the tabletop experience. Pretty much everything we love about it, the modeling, the roles, all that kind of stuff, just replacing it with a computer-generated thing. So, got to thinking about it. I work in IT. I always say that if technology is not making your life easier, it's not enhancing it, then it's wrong, right? If the shovel made digging harder, we would all use our hands, right? And the shovel is a piece of technology used for digging, mostly. I'm sure you guys can think of some other uses, but so if we're going to do augmented reality for tabletop, how do we make that experience better? Well, what are the biggest pain points for tabletop, right? It's not building the models. If I didn't want to build the models, I'd play a video game. It's not rolling the dice. If I don't want to roll the dice, there's dice roller apps, whatever. Again, I play a video game. No, the worst part is all the little things in between the playing when you're actually there. You have, I have to measure everything constantly. Is this within this distance? And it's kind of, I'm trying not to, take my stubby fat hands and knock people's stuff over. So how can we reduce that issue? And then also the constant back and forth, even among some of the more experienced players. I'm watching these battle reports, and I'm pretty novice. I expect me to have to do all this stuff, but the more experienced players going back and forth in the rule book to get the rule book, the FAQs, the codexes with the FAQs, all this stuff, and long drawn out rules lawyering, and you have to have referees, all that. So how can we reduce the measuring? How can we reduce the rules interactions during gameplay? So came up with this idea, calling it Augmentus, because I'm terrible at naming things. Maybe we'll hold a contest for it, or maybe it'll stick. Who knows? So this is a two-part tool. The first is the measuring. And in order to track and measure between, or how far a unit can move, and how far a unit can shoot, and whatever else might be measurement related, we need to be able to track all these things on the board. So phase one is trying to figure out how to very easily on existing devices, like mobile devices, track where all of your units are on the board, and then give you that augmented display of moving and shooting distances, so that you no longer have to take a tape measure to measure, right? It would just say, this unit fires this far, and then show that in an augmented fashion directly on the game board, or through your phone, rather, device. You're holding your device up, you're putting that camera at the board, and it's displaying for you a firing range, and eliminate that entire issue when you're playing. So that's the first part. The second part is then, how do we handle these rules interactions? And you see things like BattleScribe, where they narrowly get around some IP issues with publicly hosted data and inputting your own data. And we can take essentially the same thing. We can actually take exactly the same thing, the existing BattleScribe data, and build a rules engine and allow you to put your army lists in an application, very similar to how you would in BattleScribe, or even using your BattleScribe list, and then say, okay, this unit is going to shoot at that unit, right? Toughness, strength, armor saves, everything is all rolled in, and then I just at a push of a couple of buttons, I can tell I have to roll this to hit, I have to roll this to wound, they have to roll this to save, feel no pain, and then special rules that apply if this or that. It doesn't replace the gameplay. It just does all of that rules lawyering for you in a very straightforward fashion that would be easily managed. Right? If there's clarification on a rule, you go in, you change the way that rule works, and then everyone who's playing, from then on, has the correct way the rules interact. And so it would take away all of that drudgery, all of that long-standing confusion and issues with the play, and then all you have to do is focus on moving your units and what you want to do and actually the strategy part of the game, rather than trying to focus on all of who's that, the rules lawyer in the measuring. Just enhance the game, not do anything crazy. A lot of people ask, oh well, we're going to do that, let's do animations and shooting. Like, you kind of can, but that's not really right either. It would be cool to maybe have some shooting going on, but you get into all kinds of weird things where, well, let's animate. Well, you have to take an existing model, which is going to be custom for almost everybody. I don't know about you guys, but my models look different from everybody else's. The same basic shape, you can tell what they are, but if you put an animation over it, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to look like my unit. So, focusing not on changing the tabletop experience. We're not looking to replace models. We're not looking to enhance models. We're looking to enhance gameplay. Is the end of that. So that's my rant. That's what I'm doing with Augmentus. Had some people offer some help already. Much appreciated. Currently, we are looking for solutions for tracking the pieces on the tabletop. Looked at QR codes, RFID, and Bluetooth for the most part, and image recognition. Image recognition is, again, just too many different models, too many different things going on. It's just not going to be there, not yet. We're probably a ways off on the hardware, being able to keep up with that kind of image recognition. And especially with all these horde armies, they look almost exactly the same. So yeah, it's just not practical. QR codes, by the time that they get usable, they're way too big, and they just take away from the aesthetic, and they're very difficult and kind of impractical to implement on an existing model. RFID takes a lot of special equipment. Bluetooth seems to be the way to go, but for the beacons, we're looking at $10 a piece, which means you're going to spend $10 for every model you have on the board, which is kind of not good. I know I'm not going to be looking to spend $10 per unit or per model on the board for that kind of thing, even if it would be cool. So, yeah, definitely need to find a cheaper technological solution to this. Still looking. Might start in the phase 2. Might start on that rules engine first, because I can build that. It's what it is. But we'll have some fun.